Good morning, children. Welcome back to our class. I hope you all are enjoying your English grammar. So, we are in our day 4 with the fourth lesson, and the topic is phrases and clauses. So, before we begin our class with the lesson, we'll just have a quick recap of what all we learned in our previous classes. So, in day 1, we learned about countable nouns, uncountable nouns. Lesson 2, we learned about determiners, kinds of determiners, their definition. And yesterday, we learned about adjectives. The order of adjectives, the position of adjectives. We learned about attributive and superlative adjectives. Very good. Good children, you all remember them very well. Now let's begin with our lesson for today. They are phrases and clauses. And as the screen says, they are the building blocks of sentences. You can never make a sentence without a phrase or a clause. Okay? So let's read this. What is the purpose? Okay, what is the purpose of phrases and clauses? Phrases and clauses are the building blocks of sentences. You need both phrase and clause to build a sentence or to make a form a sentence. They need to be put together correctly to create strong, complete sentences. Okay, it's not just randomly putting all the words together, but they need to be put really strong, means meaningful, to make it a complete sentence. Now, to begin with, let's see what are phrases. First, we'll see what are phrases, then we'll go to the topic clauses. So, let's see what are phrases and what is the definition of phrase. It says, a phrase is a group of two or more words that express a single idea but do not form a complete sentence. Okay, children, can we read that again? A phrase is a group of two or more words. You just don't have one word or two words. You can have two or more words that express a single idea. It gives you just a single idea, a single meaning, but do not form a complete sentence. It don't form a complete sentence. It never makes the sentence complete or meaningful. It's just a group of words rather than a whole sentence. They are just group of words. They don't make the sentence whole. It does not contain a subject and verb. They might, either they have a subject or a verb. They will never have subject verb agreement in a phrase. And you all learned what are subject verb agreement that we have in a sentence in our previous class, in our first class. Okay, so let's see the examples. Few examples are given here for phrases. The bewildered tourist, the lost puppy, the sports car, a cool afternoon. So can you see these sentences, children? Actually, they are not sentences. They are just group of words. We call them as phrase. They are actually broken sentences or half sentences. They don't give a complete meaning. Okay. So what are clauses? See the definition. A clause is comprised of a group of words which includes a subject and a finite verb. So, unlike phrase, clause has what? It has a subject and also it has a verb. So, what do you mean by finite verbs? They are the main verbs. Okay, a verb that has a subject. This means that it can be the main verb in a sentence. Example, he is a wise man. So you have both the subject and the verb here. The verb is wise, subject is he. He is what? He is a wise man. So that makes the sentence complete. Okay, the next one, can you do it? The subject is you and the verb do. Okay, so it says, can you do it? Do it, please. So the verb is do. So the subject is hidden here. You don't actually need to put a subject. Do it, please. It's understood that somebody is telling to someone else, you do it, please. So you don't mention the word you. You simply say it as do it, please. Okay. I read the whole story. What is the subject? The subject is I. And what is the verb? Read. I read the whole story. I want to buy a phone, but I don't have enough money. So here you have two clauses joining together. I want to buy a phone, but I don't have enough money. In both the phrases, see, in both the clauses, you have both subject and verb. In the first one, I want to buy a phone. I is the subject, and what is the verb? Buy. Okay, he wants to buy a phone. Buy is the verb. And also in the second, the later part of the sentence says, I don't have enough money. So again here you have both subject and verb. What is the subject here? Again, I is the subject, and what is the verb here? Yes. Enough is the verb. Okay, he doesn't have enough money. He went to London. He went to London. Subject is he, verb is went. Fine, children. Now, what are independent and dependent clauses? Now, these are the two forms or the two kinds or categories of clauses. First, let's see what are independent clauses. An independent clause is a clause that can study by itself as a simple sentence. Okay, they can stand by itself. As the word says, they are independent. They don't want the support of any other words or any other sentences. They can stand by its own. It's referred as a simple sentence. It contains a subject and a predicate and makes sense by itself. Independent clause has their own subject and their own predicate in them. Independent clauses can be joined by using a semicolon or by using a comma followed by a coordinating conjunction. You all know what are coordinating conjunction. Okay, who, unless, when, while, all these are coordinating conjunction. So see the example. The patrol had spotted the sniper who was hiding in an attic. So what is the independent clause here? The patrol had spotted the sniper. They have both the subject and the predicate. The subject is the patrol and predicate is had spotted the sniper. Understood? It is followed by a coordinating conjunction. It has a comma, then it has a coordinating conjunction. What is the coordinating conjunction used here? Who. Okay? Who. Then was hiding in an attic. Is that sentence complete? No, that sentence is not complete. The first half of the sentence is complete. You can take it as a simple sentence. The patrol had spotted the sniper. So that is an independent clause. Okay, children? Next, do you know the butcher who went to court on Saturday? So again, which group of words can be taken as independent clause? Yes, the first half of the sentence. Do you know the butcher? Again, it has a coordinating conjunction who, and then the further sentence went to court on Saturday. The third sentence, I am not tidying the dishes unless Peter helps. So the first half of the sentence, I am not tidying the dishes. Tidying, what do you mean by tidying the dishes? Cleaning of the dishes, cleaning or washing, all those. Okay. I am not tidying the dishes unless Peter helps. Now, what is the independent clause? The words I am not tidying the dishes. You can take it as an independent clause. You can take it as a separate sentence. Again, the coordinating conjunction used here is unless. Understood, children? Okay, now the last example. When it rains, the daffodils bow their heads. When it rains, the daffodils bow their heads. Now, which group of words can we take as the independent clause? Yes, the second half of the sentence, the later half of the sentence. The daffodils bow their heads. We can take it as a simple independent sentence. Okay. So what is the coordinating conjunction used here? Yes, it is when. When it rains. Okay, children, I hope you all understood this. So again, see the screen, read it. Can we read it together? An independent clause can be a stand-alone sentence, while a dependent clause cannot. Can we read that again? An independent clause can be a stand-alone sentence, while a dependent clause cannot. What do you understand from this line? Yes, absolutely. An independent clause can always stand as a single sentence. It can stand alone as a single sentence. It don't need it. It never requires the need of another group of words for its support. Okay. While a dependent clause cannot. Unlike independent clause, dependent clause cannot stand alone. I survived the shipwreck, although I lost all my luggage. So, can you see the two halves of the sentence, the later half and the first half and the later half? I survived the shipwreck. That is the independent clause. Very good. Although I lost my luggage. That is the dependent clause. So, the second half of the sentence needs the support of the first half of the sentence, right? Although is the coordinating conjunction used here. See the second sentence. I survived the shipwreck as I am an Aquaman. So again the independent clause. I survived the shipwreck. What is the coordinating conjunction used here? The word as. Very good. Now let's see what are dependent clauses. So, dependent clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb. It does not express a complete thought. So, it is not a complete sentence. It cannot stand alone. Okay, children, read that again. A dependent clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb. It has both the subject and the verb. Still, it remains incomplete. Okay, it does not express a complete thought, so it is not a complete sentence. Though it has subject and verb in it, it cannot be a complete sentence. They are incomplete sentences. It cannot stand alone. See the example. If you can work on Sundays. The next one, until the sun sets. Next, while flowers continue to bloom. Next one, whenever you come to visit. So, see the example one by one, children. If you can work on Sundays. What is the subject? You can find the subject as you. You is the subject. Verb, work. You have both the subject and the verb here in the sentence, but still you see, is the sentence complete? No, it's not complete. Okay, so you can have both subject and verb in a dependent clause, but still it remains incomplete. Now, those clauses are known as what? Dependent clauses. It needs to depend on some other group of words. Okay, to make it complete. Come to the next one. Until the sun sets. Subject is sun, verb sets. Next one, while flowers continue to bloom. Subject is flowers, verb bloom. The last one, whenever you come to visit. Subject, yes, subject is you, and verb visit. Very good, children, you have understood it very well. Now it's time to review the lesson. So, you have learned what are phrases, the definition, examples, again clauses, definition and examples. Now, how to identify them in a given sentence. The two kinds of clauses, they are independent clause and dependent clause, and how to identify them. Okay, children? So we have some questions to discuss. Let's see what are the questions. You can take your notebook and everything. Get ready for the questions. Okay, the first one says, identify whether the following group of words are phrases or clauses. Okay, identify whether the following group of words are phrases or clauses. Extremely glad. What kind of a what is that, a phrase or is that a clause? Extremely glad. Yes, it's a phrase. She jogs every morning. It's a clause because you have both the subject and the and the verb. The subject is she, the verb is jogs. The next line, over the bridge. It's a phrase. It has only the subject. And the next one, while we were sleeping. Yes, it's a clause because you have both the subject and the verb. The subject is we and the verb sleeping. Very good. Now, next question. Identify the dependent and independent clauses in these sentences. Okay. If the rain stops, I shall go for a walk. Now just see what phrase can you take out as dependent. Sorry, what clause can you take as dependent and independent sentences? If the rain stops, can we take it as a dependent sentence? If the rain stops, no. But the next one, I shall go for a walk. That is an independent clause. I shall go for a walk. It gives you a complete meaning. It can stand on its own. It doesn't want the support of the other clause. So that is the independent clause. And the first one, the highlighted one, if the rain stops, that is dependent clause. Okay. The second line, I watch television when I am bored. I watch television. That is the independent clause here. And when I am bored. When is the coordinating conjunction? I am bored. When I am bored, it is the dependent clause. I want to ask you a question before you go. Read it again, children. I want to ask you a question before you go. So, the clause, I want to ask you a question. It has both subject and verb. So, that becomes, and it is standing on its own. I want to ask you a question. That is the independent clause here. And the next later half, before you go. That is the dependent clauses. Very good. So the highlighted words are dependent clauses in these sentences. Very good, children. Well done. You are keeping up with the classes. Tell your friends also. You can discuss among your friends. Let your friend make 5 sentences and let you also make 5 sentences. Discuss them within your group and come out with more examples, more sentences. Make your study interesting. And you have any questions, any doubts, you can contact me or write in your notebook. Okay, so that we can discuss once the school reopens and we all are back to our classes. Thank you, children. Have a good day.